So don't ever think that that's the reason to scream or yell at somebody because somebody in the world told you it's wrong. So now you get to scream in their face because you got positive reinforcement from a celebrity or somebody like that. That's bullshit. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. My name is John. This is my channel, Your Renaissance Man. I am at the studio and I'm working on some sheetrock work in the bathroom, trying to finish a bathroom off up here. So I have a bathroom for obvious reasons. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about being right and wrong. Before I get to all that, first I want to thank our subscribers. Thank you very much. You guys are awesome. I really appreciate you. And if you haven't subscribed yet and you're willing to do so, that's what helps us out the most right now as a new channel is subscribers. So if you are currently subscribed, you can continue to support us by either like, commenting, or sharing. So I've been recording some videos today that have been kind of hard to deal with. Some have been a little more emotional. This one's a little bit easier topic, but it's going to be hard not to babble and just go on for way too long. This is one of those topics I've had, this is one of those things I've kind of thought about on long car drives, where you just kind of sick of listening to music and just kind of get lost in your own thoughts a little bit on a long trip type thing. And so I got my headphones on today because this is my little security blanket. I'm not real secure about my voice and I process my microphone or my audio a little bit. And so it's kind of like my little comfort blanket to get through this. So talking about being right and wrong. So what I notice in our culture, I'm in the United States, just in case you're wondering. I'm sure most of our viewers will be in the United States probably. But currently in our country, there's a lot of emphasis in the media of right and wrong. And to the point that we have what's called cancel culture, where we're kind of villainizing people for not having beliefs that we feel they should have. And I'm trying not to get into the politics side of it because some of this is political, some of this is religious. I mean, there's so many different aspects right now that this is being used in our country to what I feel to divide us. And it is so destructive to us as a society to buy into that. And what I'm hopefully trying to help you guys with today is recognizing that and, being smarter than what's being forced to you to understand what's going on and make a choice for yourself that'll get you out of those kind of way of thinking of right and wrong. Not that long ago, I mean, I'm in my mid 50s, early 50s, whatever, years old at the time of this video, which means how long this video will be out in the YouTuberverse. I have no idea or when you'll discover this video or if you ever will, being realistic here. But in my youth, we'll say it that way, the media was more for it was less slanted, less biased. I mean, I can't say it was unbiased because I'm talking about my youth. So my thoughts and my memories aren't always, 100%, factual for how I remember it. So I'll just say I don't remember the media being the way it is currently. And so, in my youth, what I saw the news as was, my perception was they presented you with things without telling you what to think, without drawing conclusions. It was more presented to you. Maybe it's in an incomplete form and it was up to you to decide the rest, or maybe you didn't need to decide the rest. Maybe you're content with what you heard. Whereas now it feels like the media tries to draw a conclusion before it has all the facts, making assumptions and so forth. And, then even starting to pass judgment on people that are opposite of that. Or even trying to say that they're a part of it and contribute it by the way they feel or think about the situation. And that is so destructive for relationships with other people and us as a society as far as getting along with each other. Because then we're taking situations that are most of the time subjective and giving it a value of right or wrong. And so then by giving it a value of right or wrong, then we're, they're, saying it to us is like, then that person's wrong. So why would you want to affiliate with that person And on some topics that we've seen in recent history is we've even taken people's careers away from them through cancel culture and try to make them look like, like a villain to society without ever being charged with a crime or being, or giving a due process for anything, and just being judge, jury, and every executioner all in one step by what, somebody may have an agenda about, and thinking that we're going to get the mass, the majority of society to agree with us. And then we're going to push people out of our way that don't agree with us. So it's very destructive to divide us as people, as a nation. In my youth, these topics, politics, religion, sex, that kind of stuff. Those were three topics we didn't talk about openly. And now it's pushed in our face all the time. Sexual preference, for example, we didn't talk about that in our youth, even though in my youth there was, basically there weren't many options in that as there is today, let's say. And people will crucify me for me saying options, say they didn't have a choice. I was born this way, whatever. That's not the point of this conversation. The other one was politics, and our politics in this country are very polarized right now. It's either you vote for the one that's going to kill kittens, or you're going to vote for the one that's going to save kittens. So if you hate cats, you vote for the one that's going to hates kittens. If you're a cat lover, you're going to vote for the one that's going to save kittens, and there's no option for a third party. And so we're very much trapped in two parties right now. And then religion, religions are all over the place, very diverse. And so we didn't talk about religion openly because we didn't want to tell somebody else, share with somebody else who didn't agree, because we weren't there to say that you're right or wrong for what you believe as a religion. It's just that we know that you're different, and we're fine with that. And now it's being forced in our face all the time to be judged, to be judgmental of people that's right and wrong. There's an active attack on Christianity currently, and that's not the only religion being attacked, but I was raised Christian, so I notice it. They're trying to, devalue it or whatever, saying it's, witchcraft, old, how do you believe in this fictitious person that you've never seen type thing, whatever. And I'm not here to pick apart religion either, but those are examples that I see going on right now. So I don't think it's bad to keep those topics personal to yourself. I don't need to know that about you. You don't need to know that about me. It is of no value to either one of us to know that about each other. But now we're putting it out in the public all the time, and we're using it as a point to make a decisive action about somebody else, because we're forcing them to decide to make a decision on a yes or no, black and white determination on a certain topic that's basically based on your feelings or experiences. So, it's ultimately subjective. It's not a black and white issue, but we're treating it as such. And then we're vilifying people that don't agree with whoever's asking the question sometimes. So it's very detrimental to relationships in our society as a whole, because now we start looking at people like, if you support that political party, then you're the enemy to our cause, And what I've learned over the years is by talking to people of differing beliefs, and I challenge myself frequently to do that, especially with people that are very outspoken. I ask them questions. I don't tell them I'm wrong. I don't try to talk louder than them and reinforce my side of the story. I ask them questions, get to know them. You'll find out that their beliefs are not that far from yours. They're arm's length away from you, basically, on how to to have an agreement that would probably work beneficial for both of you. And you both would be like, it's not 100% what I want, but I can deal with that. That's, better than it was. And the other person may say, yeah, I can give a little on that. It doesn't have to be that hardcore. As long as I'm okay with that type thing. And, but, I see it happen with the media a lot. They're trying to drive a wedge from us so we don't do that on our own. And I'm trying not to get into conspiracy theory stuff. I'm just trying to share with you observations to hopefully make you not a critical thinker of these situations, especially stuff where it doesn't need to be, and be more open to hearing other sides, because what ultimately makes us all better off is having a greater understanding for each other when we disagree. Obviously, there's things that are very black and white, let's say murder, stealing, that kind of stuff. Okay, most of us tend to agree on those topics that we shouldn't do that, or it shouldn't be allowed to happen in a society. But when it gets down to, I'm going to oversimplify this so it doesn't turn to something political, because I don't, it's not what this channel is about. I don't want a shit show in the comments, okay? So I'm going to oversimplify it. So I like blue. My friend says green is the best color. I say, okay, I like blue. Yeah, but green's the best color. It's the color of grass. It's the color of most of our food, that's grown, So it's the best color. Me understanding that it's not a situation or a topic to argue or disagree about, and understanding it is subjective and that other person doesn't, I detach. I'm like, that's fine. You believe what you want. This is my favorite color. I'm glad you like green. Green's not my favorite color. Yeah, but green's the best color. Okay, if they're still arguing on that level with you, detach. Just don't try to, because you don't win conversations. You don't. You really don't. And that's the reason why yes and no and right and wrong is so detrimental. I mean, not yes and no, but why right and wrong is so detrimental to a relationship is it's driving a wedge between you where it's on a topic that's unnecessary. So, and that's what's happening in the media right now. We're driving division between people. And that's such a horrible thing to do because there's so many topics that most people don't care enough to make a division between us on the topic. So saying it's right or wrong is really the long way to tackle it. We're supposed to embrace each other for our differences and have a better understanding of them. And then we grow from it and understand that we're not all the same. That's what a mature adult does. A whiny child that doesn't get his way and doesn't understand things and going to fight to be right, that is destructive to everybody that buys into it. You as an adult, you as a mature person, separate yourself from that. Like, I'm not going to engage on that level. I'm not going to throw mud back at you to convince you blue is correct. Blue is the best. No, blue is my favorite. That's a subjective statement. There is no right color. There is no, you know what I mean? And to carry that behavior, say like into your personal life, meaning like with your people closest to you, the people you share your world with, meaning like significant others, a spouse, your children, family, your close friends, that kind of stuff. Those of you who have a hard time making friends and you have to be right, there's a good reason why you don't have a lot of friends. That is something that just pushes people away. It's hard to continuously listen to somebody who has to be right and doesn't listen to your side of it. It is a great way to push people out of your life because people don't have patience for that. They don't have time for that, So you have just driven the wedge between you that has separated you by your own actions. So you really don't want to do that with your family and children and that kind of stuff. These are the people that you love and care for and matter the most to you. So you should do what you can to, and it is not a giving in. It's not a win or losing situation. It's doing what's best for the greater good. Because like I said, a lot of these topics are subjective, meaning there is no right or wrong. So why drive a wedge between your child and you because you disagree with your favorite football team? Whatever. You both don't have the same. I mean, it's always playful competitiveness where it's not serious, where, my team's going to beat your team. That's healthy. That's normal. But calling people wrong because they like something, that's just messed up. That's psychological warfare. You're trying to mess with their head. You're doing it for your own insecurities, it's not healthy. You're not doing it for healthy reasons. You know what I mean? And that's not healthy for the other person to receive that. And that's going to drive a wedge between you. It's going to hamper your relationship, which also happened with a spouse, for example. For some reason, some marriages, I can't say all marriages because I haven't been married to everybody and not everybody's been married to me, but I did have a relationship for close to 20 years. But having the attitude of being right and wrong with your disagreements, horrible for the dynamic of your relationship, horrible for your relationship. Just bad for a marriage. It is such a horrible attitude to bring into a marriage. This is a person you want to spend the rest of your life with, you love, you share your most intimate parts of your life with. It's a bond, it's a relationship, it's a partnership. And how do you keep a partnership strong and together is doing what you can to keep it strong by not driving a wedge between it. So when you have disagreements on things, it's not, don't look at it as right or wrong. Look at it as, you know what? I can see you're very passionate about what you believe. I don't 100% agree with you, but I respect you for believing that. So let's just agree to disagree. And that right there is the key part, respect. That is what fallen wayside in this country. We are giving permission to being disrespectful with people who disagree with us because we're making them right and wrong. So that opens the door to being disrespectful for some reason. And it is not. So don't ever think that that's the reason to scream or yell at somebody because somebody in the world told you it's wrong. So now you get to scream in their face because you got positive reinforcement from a celebrity or somebody like that. That's bullshit. That is bullshit. That is somebody else making up your mind for you. Be the better person, be the bigger person, and make up your own decision about it for what you believe. But then on top of all that, get a greater understanding for the people around you and realize not everybody in the world is like you, and get to know them and understand that they are different. They are different for very justifiable reasons in their mind because it is subjective. Their experiences, their life has led them to believe what they believe, just as yours have. Now be respectful of that and understand that there's not people like you, Granted, I can go in any room and I can get half the people to be upset with me for something I believe in. And I can get half the room to agree with me. Do you get that? Do you understand how simple that is? And neither is right, neither is wrong. So, yeah, don't buy into this right and wrong bullshit, especially when it's not real. It's, like I said, I am trying really hard not to mention specific topics because this channel is not about that. So hopefully, cross your fingers, you guys get a little something out of this. I'm trying not to ramble too much. I'm watching the minute counter on my camera saying to myself, don't go on too long about this because you could ramble on for days and nobody would listen to half of it. So I'm trying to keep it as short as possible and get my point across. So anyways, if you guys made it to the end, thank you very much. I appreciate you greatly. Love you all. There's no reason. There's no reason to hate anybody for the most part. Most of us are good people. Not saying there isn't any bad people, but most of us are good. So thank you to our subscribers. If you haven't subscribed yet and you're willing to do so, that's what helps us out the most right now. It'd be greatly appreciated. If you're subscribed already, if you could please continue to support us by either commenting, or sharing. So love you all. Have a great day. God bless.